Thank you very much. Dear Mr. Leung, dear Mr. Consul General Freihofer, Professor Wang, thanks for inviting me to this wonderful conference to share and represent Roche, one of the oldest and largest pharmaceutical companies in the world, based in Switzerland, with a strong presence in China, Hong Kong, and in the region, and to talk about our experiences and insights in catalyzing biotech innovation. Today I'm going to talk about how do we catalyze biotech innovation in Hong Kong by bridging Swiss excellence to China's ecosystem. I chose the photo of the BOC Tower here because this building was, established 30 years ago. Now, if you look at this, I think something has changed, something has not. So how do we envision Hong Kong's landscape in the innovation field going to look like in the next 30 years will be very interesting. I'm going to talk about three main themes. One is about the Swiss-like excellence of driving innovation at Roche. I'm also going to talk about how Roche has been able to harness the innovation in this part of the world, especially in China, in the recent decades, with different models all the way from early company incubation and research collaboration all the way to licensing and business development. And last but not least, I would like to give our own perspectives on how can we better unleash Hong Kong's potential in building a vibrant biotech innovation hub. So a very brief introduction about Roche. It is a family business with more than 120 years old. It is a public company listed in Swiss stock exchange, but our founding family still owns the majority of the voting shares. This gives us the possibility to leverage the capital markets, but being able to think and plan long term. We have been one of the largest healthcare R&D investors, with every year with more than 20% of our revenue being reinvested into R&D, and that is the highest amount in our industry. We have a few Nobel Prize winners, and our drugs, medicines, and diagnostic tests have benefited and served patients worldwide, more than 23 million people only in last year. The industry we are in is a very unique combination of long-term investment, high-cost process, yet low success rates. If you look at the figures, the success rates of a molecule coming all the way from discovery to become a drug is less than 10%. And by doing that, we are going to spend more than 4 billion euros in developing a drug itself, and also that takes decades of efforts and experiments, of teamwork of thousands of scientists. That complex and long development process and attrition rates lead to a very high innovation cost. So the way Roche does innovation is very unique in the sense our structure is divided into pharmaceutical and diagnostic divisions. We have independent R&D units and affiliates across the world through acquisitions and innovative partnerships. For example, here we highlighted our acquisition of Genentech in the US in early 2000s, our partnership with Chugai in Japan since 2004, as well as some of the innovative biotech companies we acquired recently. In addition, we have more than 250 external innovation partners, institutions, and universities who can bring innovation to supplement our own efforts. We focus on 5 key therapeutic areas in oncology, hematology, neurology, ophthalmology, immunology, and CVRM. These 5 therapeutic areas in total would contribute more than half of the world's patient patient needs and unmet medical needs. And we see these are the areas with highest unmet needs for us to prevent, treat, preserve, restore, and even cure the diseases. We have many innovations hub in the world, mostly based, rooted in our headquarters in Europe as well in the States. But I would love to highlight a few here in Asia. For example, Roche has an autonomous R&D engine in Shanghai called China Innovation Center of Roche. I'm going to talk a bit more in just a minute. So C-Core is focused on a early discovery and development of therapeutics. We also have diagnostic R&D businesses in Shanghai. We also have some manufacturing sites in Singapore, as well as in other parts of the world. So, of course, we operate also our affiliates, commercial affiliates around the world, with both diagnostic and pharma affiliates here in Hong Kong. We believe there are a lot of flexibilities in pursuing external innovation, therefore all the way from early company incubation with my team's efforts in building Roche Accelerator, all the way to licensing, partnering, investments, and M&A. We have the full value chain and business model that we can deploy. And of course, we put our best considerations to strive a win-win collaboration with the right capabilities, with the right type of collaboration model, and a fit-for-purpose value proposition, and fair risk and reward split. The next couple of minutes, I want to talk about our recent approaches and efforts in harnessing innovation from China. You see, China has been an increasingly important and vibrant innovation hub, thanks to its growing competitiveness measured by a couple of parameters. Here, let me highlight a few. First, if you look at the Nature Index measuring the top-tier publications, China has surpassed the US in 23, and now we're actually growing even further in adding the gap. If you look at the top science cities measured by Nature magazine as well, the top 10 cities, there are actually half of them are coming from mainland China: Beijing, Shanghai, Nanjing, Guangzhou, and Wuhan. And there are 4 from US and 1 from Japan. This highlights or underscores the government's commitments and willingness to develop both the basic research as well as the translational efforts. Therefore, if you look at the recent numbers of China-originated drug pipeline, we are quickly catching up with the US. The gap between the blue and the red bars you see on the bottom left are getting smaller and smaller. Last but not least, based on industry reports by Stifels, almost 1/3 of SI deals are right now sourced from China, from multinational companies. If you look at 10 years ago, this was barely 0%. So this shows Chinese increasing competitiveness of threefold. One is in strength in engineering-based innovation. Second is the speed to generate fast clinical proof of concept, and also the willingness to do iterations with multiple shots on goal. The C-Core, or China Innovation Center Roche, is Roche's very first fully owned multinational pharma R&D center in Shanghai back in 20 years ago. We just celebrated our anniversary last year, and we have developed more than 10 molecules into the clinical stage. Of course, we focus on oncology, immunology, and metabolism areas, with a focus in novel modalities and technologies. We also want to harness the ecosystem because we see the vibrant ecosystem I've mentioned before. Therefore, we are actively partnering with academic institutions, startup companies, as well as companies where we could license assets from them. That's why in the past 3 years or so, we have done 5 major licensing deals with Chinese companies done through our independent R&D units from Genentech, from Basel, as well as from China Innovation Center of Roche, with company working on small molecules, large molecules, ADCs. We have covered quite a number of disease areas within oncology, though, with multiple molecules with upfronts and milestone royalties, leading to major deal values. I think we are going to see from this year onwards, maybe not just in oncology, but also in other non-oncology therapeutic areas from Chinese companies. And we remain excited about what's coming ahead from Chinese companies. In 2021, we started Roche Accelerator as Roche's very first in-house accelerator around the world. We built this in Shanghai, not in San Francisco, not in Basel, for a good reason, because we believe there's so much we can do and shape in this dynamic ecosystem. And to support the entrepreneurs in bridging their efforts from scientific hypothesis to a drug, from translational science to translational medicine, in order to cross the valley of death. That we know many good ideas and programs actually failed during this process. Of course, we know we are not alone in this journey. We have to partner with the ecosystem and industry to work together. That's why we partner with venture capital, with operational partners, as well as with our Hong Kong partner here from Hong Kong Science Park to advance the development and translational research of these companies, both in China and beyond. So if you got a chance to visit Shanghai next time, please feel free to drop to our state-of-the-art facility in Zhangjiang. This is a $40 million investment by Roche with a world-class facility with labs and offices and open areas, and of course a very nice rooftop if you may want a drink afterwards. So we have supported close to 20 startup companies since 21. Now this is already the fourth year in our journey. And I would love to highlight how we have been working together with our Hong Kong partners and what we can do more here in Hong Kong to support Hong Kong's ambition to become the next innovation hub in biotech. So in early 2023, we launched our partnership with Hong Kong Science Park. This is a tripartite partnership with Roche Hong Kong, Roche Accelerator, as well as Hong Kong Science Park. Here we are joining hands to focus on Roche's strategic therapeutic areas in oncology, immunology, as well as neuroscience, rare diseases, ophthalmology, and infectious diseases, together with some of the screening and monitoring solutions. By doing so, we try to leverage Science Park's facility, Science Park's underground support to these biotech companies, and also Roche's expertise and value chain footprint in mainland and in Hong Kong to provide mentorship, coaching, market expansion opportunities, as well as the collaboration opportunities working with C-Corp, with our R&D scientists to advance their projects. Here, I would love to highlight 3 companies we have co-incubated or will be co-incubating with Science Park since 23. One is called Biomics that just started their Hong Kong efforts last year. Etern, I think this one just got officially approved. Maybe I'm spreading the news a bit too soon, but I think this will be our second portfolio company coming to Hong Kong in the next months to come. And of course, we have a third company to be announced, hopefully in the next few months in the obesity field. Throughout those collaborations, Roche has been always upholding a bar applied to each program we develop in-house and externally. We want to follow the science. We also want to have intentional focus, meaning that those molecules need to have a clear, address a clear needs, engaging a foundation target. The molecule is druggable with a good differentiation and a potential market value. And therefore, I know we have a full house of entrepreneurs and investors. I will also highlight some of the things we look for as we hear your pitch. For science, we want this to be innovative and differentiated, addressing a true need, and also it's not just a cool science. It needs to be translatable. And also you have the data available, and you have a clear idea about some of the killer experiments you are going to do next in order to reach the next inflection point. And you also need to have a strong patent protection in order to launch your product. Running the business, whether this is a platform company or an asset company, you need to think about whether the platform is validated or the product has a unique TPP that is going to bring value to the patients down the line. We want to see a track record team with experiences, or you know where the gaps are and you are to make some key hires. Last but not least, for the financing, thinking about how much the company is worth. Is this realistic? And what are you going to raise the money for? And last but not least, who are going to join hands to support your journey as a syndicate of investors? The last slide, I want to talk about Hong Kong, because we have been present in major biotech innovation hubs around the world, being Shanghai, Boston, San Francisco, Basel, or here in Asia. And we have known that each city or hub has their unique positioning and focus. And just like many other multinationals, we think about some of the key elements of creating or building a life science innovation hub. First, we will argue that you may need multinational R&D centers as an anchor for talent, for know-how, for creating jobs, value chain presence, downstreams, upstreams, as well as the infrastructure. Because we see the multinationals are really bringing the entire ecosystem to the place. And that is not just putting a logo in the city. You need a real presence of the critical mass. And second is the capital, both private and public, need to reward and incentivize those therapeutic innovations. And by doing that, this is better to do so with milestone-based, following the industrial standards milestones, either preclinical or clinical milestones, where everybody is looking at that. Third, we hope that the Hong Kong ecosystem could leverage its world-class universities and hospitals to create a more focused and concerted research to focus on what you are good at and attract and create a cluster of top scholars and ambitious professors who are willing to join hands and advance Hong Kong as one of the key frontiers and pioneers in that particular field. Last but not least, Hong Kong has really one of the world's most famous KOLs and leading hospitals in certain therapeutic areas. And using this unique advantage as an early translational hub for running early clinical proof of concept will be very attractive for bringing more clinical and industrial resources to this place. Together, we believe the innovation in life sciences can deliver a breakthrough not just for Hong Kong, but also for Greater China and worldwide. I hope this is something we are just providing some food for thought, and I welcome a more engaging and interactive dialogue for the rest of the conference today with many of the guests and speakers here today. Thank you very much.